So many Singaporeans tell us the same thing. I want to invest in property, but in Singapore, everything is so expensive. Condo prices are sky high, rental yields are barely 2 to 3%, and don't even talk about ABSD. One extra property and the government smacks you with 20% tax up front. That's why today we're going to break down 3 big reasons why Singaporeans should seriously consider investing in US properties. And by the end of this video, you'll see why we chose the US over places like Malaysia, Australia, or even the UK, and how you can start too, even if you've never set foot in the US before. Hi everyone, it's Tracy from Bite Size Investments. If you're new to the channel, we're Singaporeans who built a portfolio of over 20 rentals in the US remotely from Singapore, generating 6-figure annual rent income for us. And we started this channel to teach people from all over the world how to do the same. Now let's get into it. There are several reasons why we chose to invest in US properties, but here are 3 big reasons. Reason number 1, better rent to price ratio. Let's start with the most obvious reason, rental yield. In Singapore, a $1 million condo might rent for $3,000 to $4,000 a month. That's a 3 to 4% gross rental yield. And after mortgage and taxes and maintenance and management fees, you're usually negative in cash flow. But in the US, because property prices are lower and the rent demand is much higher, the rent to price ratio is so much healthier. For example, a 3-bedroom landed house can cost US dollars $180,000, and that same house in the same area can rent for $1,850 a month. And by the way, houses in the US are all freehold. That's a 12% gross annual yield. Recall that the gross annual yield in Singapore is only 3 to 4%. By having a higher rent to price ratio, chances are that your rental income with such US properties will cover your mortgage and all expenses, leaving you with actual positive cash flow. That is the key to early retirement. Your tenants are paying down your mortgage completely for you, while you still collect extra pocket money every month from the rent. This is something almost impossible in Singapore with today's property prices. Reason number 2, equal rights for foreigners. In the US, foreigners get the same rights as their locals to buy properties. Let's compare this with some other countries. In Japan, foreigners cannot take loans to buy houses. In Thailand, foreigners cannot own land. In Malaysia, popular areas like Johor Bahru requires foreigners to have a minimum 1 million ringgit purchase for their property price. In Australia, foreigners cannot sell their properties to other foreigners, only to the locals. In China, foreigners are not allowed to buy houses for rental investment. And in Singapore, if you're a foreigner trying to buy property here, chances are that you'll get hit by 60% ABSD. But in the US, it doesn't matter if you're American or Singaporean or Malaysian or wherever you're from. You can buy a property in your own name, set up a US limited liability company or LLC as a foreigner without a US partner. You can buy property under your LLC name. You can open a US bank account remotely. You can own residential homes, commercial buildings, even land. You can sell to anyone, including foreigners or locals. And you can even take out a mortgage as a foreigner. This shocks most Singaporeans. Yes, you can get a loan in the US even if you have 0 US credit score, no US income, do not work or live in the US, and do not have a US spouse. There is a loan called a DSCR loan, Debt Service Coverage Ratio loan. You can go and check it out, where the lender doesn't care about your salary. They care about whether the property's rent can cover the mortgage. If your property cash flows, it means that the rent is sufficient to pay for the mortgage, property taxes, and insurance. And hence, your personal income is not required to top up and pay for the monthly mortgage. And that's why lenders don't care about your personal income. Because the asset pays for the mortgage, unlike in Singapore, there is no TDSR or Total Debt Servicing Ratio capping you in the US. You can take unlimited number of loans as long as the homes are positive cash flow. Reason number 3, 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Now the third reason, and this is one that most Singaporeans don't believe when we tell them, the US is the only country in the world where you can get a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Why is this such a big deal? Because over time, rent and expenses like your taxes and your repairs and your insurance may rise with inflation, but your biggest cost, which is your mortgage, stays exactly the same for 3 whole decades. Plot that on a graph, rent goes up, but your mortgage flatlines. That means your cash flow grows bigger and bigger the longer you hold your property. This is basically inflation working for you. And what happens if market rates go down? You can refinance your loan to the lower rate and lock it in again for 30-year fixed. There is no age limit to take 30-year fixed rate loans in the US. So let's recap. The US has better rent to price ratios that allow you to earn positive cash flow. As a foreigner, you get the same property rights as locals, including access to loans without US credit history. The US offers the world's only 30-year fixed rate mortgage, protecting you from rising interest rates over time. This is why we've bought over 20 US rental properties from Singapore without ever living there. And it's why our students are doing the same. So if you're a Singaporean looking for overseas property investment and you want to learn more about the strategies we use in US real estate, we've put together a free course just for you. Link in the description, check it out and start building your knowledge today. Who knows, 4 years later, you'll have a US rental portfolio just like ours, 20 over home, and you'll be enjoying your time on an island somewhere, enjoying your passive income. If you enjoyed this video, please help me to smash that like and subscribe button to see more content from us. You can also check out any of these videos where we open the books and showcase our real life numbers of some of our US properties. That's all for now. See you in the next one.